Hi, welcome to the Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and that slightly startled me. This is episode 190, turning over a new leaf, where Amy scares me at the beginning of the episode.
Keeping you on your toes.
Chaz didn't blink.
No. He's okay with it.
He's cool. So last week we recorded on a Thursday, and this week we are recording on a Monday. So long time no see.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a nice weekend?
I did. Yeah.
It was unseasonably cool, the weatherman told me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was cooler than it's supposed to be for this time in October.
Mm.
But the sun was shining, so that was nice.
Yep.
Did you do anything exciting?
Tried to go bowling and the lanes were full, so we played in the arcade for a little while, and we rented the Avengers movie.
Ooh. I was gonna get that, and my husband's like, I don't think you would like it.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Action movie.
Yeah, I have been not liking the really violent stuff recently, so I don't know. Maybe that was why.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I always think of the Avengers of having more
Cartoonish.
yeah, comic booky violence. It's not, well, I can't say comic booky violent. There's some very violent comic books, but, you know, Avengers Marvel style.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, it didn't seem that violent to me.
I was talking to a coworker speaking about comic books and how they can be very adult. That I had been coloring, and we were coloring in these adult comic books, and they were like, "Oh, what makes adult comic books? Like, is the subject matter really racy?" And I was like, "No, they're meant for like adults, not like that it's racy, like an adult movie."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said comic books.
Oh, sorry, coloring books. That's what I
So
meant.
yeah, no, I just tell people that the lines are very hard to stay in.
Yeah.
They're very detailed.
But it was just funny, because, like, in our little community, everybody talks about the adult comic books.
Right.
And then, like, out of context, it was like, oh, is it super racy? Like, are you drawing in naked people? I'm like, no.
Well, I had one of those one time when I said, oh, it's a girly movie.
Mm.
And I was thinking chick flick,
Mm-hmm.
not
Like
porn.
like nudie patootie.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a girly movie, you know, it was, you know, made for girls, not, yeah, kind of like a stag film. Wasn't a picture of a buck.
Yeah. My daughter didn't watch a lot of the Barbie films, but sorry, my total tangent in my brain here. But somebody at work was telling me that it was a grandfather. Oh, I've just watched all of these Barbie films with my granddaughter, and I was just like, oh, which one's your favorite? Oh, I don't know. I kind of like the one about the Jeep. And I was like, but you've seen them all? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so you like the Whale Tale or Whale of a Tale? I really, you know, my boys actually watched that one. He's like, oh, I haven't seen that one. And I kept on naming them off, and he was like it wasn't registering. Of like, yeah, you've seen all of, yeah, you had to watch all of the Barbie movies. Higher.
Maybe he was talking about the TV show. I like the TV show. It's got a lot of, I don't know, Barbie and Friends or whatever it is.
I like the Charm School one too, Barbie Charm School. What's your favorite Barbie movie? Although we didn't get much response last week on who is your favorite Ghostbuster.
That's true.
So I'm not holding my breath for what's your favorite Barbie movie. Probably far less likely to enjoy a Barbie movie than you are to enjoy somebody in Ghostbusters. Anyway, in honor of Socktober, we're gonna do kind of an impromptu, but we prepared, sock review. Talk about our finished objects and works in progress briefly, because it's a short week. Because next week I'm going to Rhinebeck. So, not a short week. This week's short, so that next week it can be a full week in between,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
We're trying to front load so that we can be ready to have more to talk about before Rhinebeck.
Mm-hmm.
And then Megan will have a million things to say after Rhinebeck.
Here's hoping. I'm super excited, not only to go to Rhinebeck and see all of my peoples, but also to see my brother. So I'm going to get to visit him, and I won't have the kids turning me into a parent. I can be like a sister.
Yep.
You know, that's fun. Don't get that often.
Yeah, running solo.
Mm-hmm. A swinging single. All right, do we want to do socks first?
Sure.
All right, I grabbed 2 successes and a failure. So my oldest pair of socks that I own, I've had a couple of others that have gotten holes and have gotten frogged, even though I don't know what I ever thought I was going to do with the yarn. All of them for me wore out in this area right here, so the ball of my foot. I think I do a lot of pivoting and running around on hardwood floors. Maybe a piece of food gets stuck in there, and I'm just really hard on socks. And so these are the Riff socks. They were knit in 2010, and they are made out of Cascade Heritage.
Okay.
And they've just, other than being really pilly, they have held up very well, and they've gotten worn a lot. I remember wearing them to parties that you were at and being like, I wonder if Amy will notice my socks. Because these would have been really early on in my 2010, my knitting career. So that's a success, in my opinion. They're heel flap. And they've got a fun little motif they were my first fancy socks. So they've got a motif, it's a free knitty pattern that goes up the front, and then there's a motif around the back that goes up the heel flap. And they're toe up socks. First fancy socks were toe up socks. And then I'm trying to remember if I've got where did I put my phone? I threw it on the floor. Then I have these that are Space Cadet yarn, and it's super high cashmere. It's the Aurora base, which has 20% cashmere. And I've probably worn them maybe 3 or 4 times, and the 3 or 4 times that I've worn them, they have been fantastic. But as you can see, they are a lot more pilly even than the ones that are 5 years old. So I knit these in 2012, so they're only 3 years old. And I think that they are best suited for like putting them on, sitting on the couch, taking them off, getting up and walking around, putting them on, going to bed, sleeping. The cashmere, I knew when I did it that I should probably not knit socks, especially with my feet that have such a high cashmere content, but I just wanted to. I think these were for Sock the Vote, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's when I knit them, and they were kind of the early version of my expanding community. Yep. So I kind of went off book with them because I knit, and this is a normal heel flap and the toe up, and just really pilly. And I'm scared to start like defuzzing, because then I don't know, the holes will follow surely pretty closely after. But absolutely love the colorway. What is the colorway called? Toad. Like toad. So they were toe up in the Sock Vote. And but yes, very luxurious, and kind of one of those things you knew when you were doing it that probably weren't going to wear the best, but they would be very luxurious. And then, as much as I have complained about, I love Vesper sock yarn. It's super, I love all of her colorways, her color sense, and recently she's gotten a nylon base, but before that she didn't have a nylon base. She just had 100% merino. These have worn really well. This is her, the 100% merino, and I knit it like Amy style, bulletproof on zeros. So super small stitches. I think there's like 9 stitches per inch here. 9 stitches per inch. And they've worn really well, even without the nylon. So the colors have stayed vibrant, and I'm not getting any wearing in the normal places, and it isn't pilling. So something to be said about
bulletproof
knitting a really small, tight gauge. The socks take forever, and you may never want to knit another sock again in your whole life. But they wear really well, even if they don't have nylon. And then my other pair I talked about last week. I absolutely love the way the SKUs fit. Colors have faded. That was the first birthday kit yarn, so it's 3 years old now. And they have gotten worn weekly since then, in the winter months. So holding up really well. Colors have kind of died down, but no holes in the bottom, and I really like the way the SKUs fit, and I'm alluding to future socks that I'll be talking about.
So this is a lovely, I think this is a Dr. Watson scarf colorway. It used to be a little bit more vibrant, but it faded nicely. And then I did an afterthought heel, which this is not my size. This is my size. So this tends to fall off of my heel. There's no structure on the leg either. I should have put ribbing all the way up or something, especially with this afterthought heel. But if it's an afterthought heel, would you know where to start the ribbing? No. So,
was it a true afterthought?
Yes.
Okay. So you snipped?
I knit them as tubes and snipped. And I snipped them in the wrong place and obviously didn't knit them tall enough. So I was telling Megan, if somebody out there has wide feet that are a good, like size 8 maybe? Size 8. Wide foot. And doesn't mind used socks. These would make somebody very happy. I still wear them. These are freshly washed, but I'm not necessarily happy with them. I have to wear tennis shoes with a tight lace gone. I can't wear them in my boots. They're just really crazy. They just fall right in, and I have to keep tugging them up, and it's not a boot sock. But this was just a mistake in knitting socks. So afterthought heel, did not appreciate it, and didn't start it at the right place.
Lesson learned.
Yes, lesson learned. And so this is the one and only pair that I have that is quite like this. I think I was scared off of afterthought heels for a while. And then when I got back to doing short row heels, not afterthought, but short row heels, I was very careful to make them long, completely long enough before I started them. An example of that is in my loves, but here is my SKUs that I knit way back when. And I knit them bulletproof and biased and with the same number of stitches. And Megan just finished her socks SKUs, same number of stitches. And
actually, yeah,
if we
have the right one.
If we run them together, you can see that there's a finger width here difference in width. So there was no way it was going to get over my instep, and so I had to modify them to go straight and then do a heel, just a regular old afterthought heel. And yeah, this was,
they're a little tight to get on and off, right?
Yeah, this is a make it work moment. And they fit okay, and they actually stay on okay, quote unquote okay, but they're not what they were supposed to be, and that's why they're disappointing.
I have that Walking with Steve colorway that I need to knit up. It's been staring at me in my stash because it's been a long time.
Fun. It is fun. It's the same as I remember knitting it up. It's got that vintagey red splatter brains and the black and white. Yep. I like it. So that was my womp. But for my happy, I brought some socks that rock. And I think the reason I brought the socks that rock is because most of my socks in my sock drawer are socks that rock. Or I should say, if you ask me which is the highest number, knit in one particular yarn base, it would be socks that rock.
That's your steady.
It's my steady. And I really appreciate it. I know that my first pair only lasted 3 years, but I think that was back when I was actually knitting less tight. So, going back to Megan's problem of wearing out the non-nylon, well, these don't have nylon in them, but they have a very high twist. And so if you can get them down to that 9 stitches per inch, they are wearing very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I go between 9 and 10 stitches per inch when I'm knitting socks.
On ones?
On ones. Yeah, I don't have to go down to zeros to get that. If I went down to 0, that'd be at like 12 or something. Insane.
They could stand up by themselves.
Probably. Probably. I should try that at least once. Feel your pain, right? Go down to the zeros and really. But I don't know. I really like just the fabric that they make. It's a little thicker, so, if you're not a fan of thick socks that rocks is not going to be your friend. Because even the lightest weight is very thick.
Yeah, it's got less than 400 yards for 100 grams.
Yeah.
And the lightweight. So
yeah.
It's a beefy base.
It is. And then, I don't know. I really enjoy self-striping socks, and I have a lot of different things on the needles right now that I'm excited about. But this is Megan's pattern. I put on a different heel for some reason. Oh, that's right. This was because I had knit this heel for everybody but myself, and I wanted to be able to review it.
See how it fit you.
Yeah, see how it fit me. And it fit okay.
That's the fish lips kiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the only reason I changed it. I've since knit a couple of the OMG.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said that they were trying out different sock bases or sock heels for Socktober, and they mentioned one that I was like, what sock heel is that? I'll have to look it up and
do tell.
Yeah. It was like a very strange name too.
Huh. You mentioned that you had, well, actually, let's get a conversation started. So if you have a yarn base that you absolutely love, or a heel that you absolutely love, or some sock tips that you can pass on. I taught a whole class at the Zombie Knitpocalypse about how I kind of came upon the OMG heel and how certain heels fit me and what I've discovered through the whole heel process. But I just think it's interesting to find out, ways that knitters, we solve problems, right? I was trying to say we knitters, so knitters. Knitters. We solve problems, right? So if I knit a pair of socks and it takes me a certain amount of time and then they wear out immediately, then I solve that problem by trying different things. And each sock is kind of its own little hypothesis and experiment, right?
Mm-hmm. This is true. It was the Bootylicious heel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have not tried that heel.
Yeah, I have not either, but it's in Miss Sarah's sock patterns.
Got it.
Yeah, she's got Rack 'em Stack 'em and what's the other one that she's recently put out that's a sock pattern?
Okay.
Yeah.
Know where to look now.
Yes you do. You mentioned that you had left your FO at home drying.
Veil. I think it's dry by now because I put it on there Saturday morning, and it's that yak, and it seems like it would dry really fast. I was even in that room. I just failed.
Yeah, this weekend I threw the little peanut in the washing machine and really said a prayer for it because it's got that tart in it, and I know red sometimes is very hard to be color fast. So I threw in a color catcher and it came out fine. There was no red that ended up, and very little ended up on the color catcher as well. And, but like I laid it out and the washer spins it out, so a lot of the water gets spun out, and then I laid it out underneath the fan as I normally do. It's been a little drier, so I was thinking that and then at the end of the day I went to flip it And I felt it, and it was still really wet. And what it made me realize that a lot of the stuff I've been knitting recently is fingering weight, and that dries really fast because the yarn isn't very thick.
Yeah.
So here I thought I had like perfected this system where everything was drying super fast, when actually it was just that I've been knitting a lot of fingering weight items that dry super fast. Funny that, eh?
Yes. So I finished my ponchette in the yak. So my posh item is done. And I really enjoyed the knit. It was very simple. I decided, since I had the yarn for the size that was supposed to be, I was just going to end it in red, and played a little bit of yarn chicken. I have some left. And I guess towards the end I just decided that this yarn would make a really nice cablicious hat or something. Cowl hat, something. So I'm going to just...
With the one that you were going to use at the bottom.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
I'm just thinking of, there's been some garments where I'm like, I'm just done with it. I don't want to knit long sleeves. It's kind of similar, right? Like, I could add, but
Yeah. Oh, it's a different color. I mean, maybe if it was still red, I just didn't have the power to make it into something gorgeous at the bottom. It would have just been a color block, and I was like, I don't think that would look good. So just decided not.
At one time you thought it would look good though, right?
Well, no, I was planning on doing something, either like a pixelate, like a color work in between, or maybe doing like a feather and fan type of thing where it would, I would ease it in and make it wavy. But no, brain power was at an all-time low, and decided just to finish it.
Yeah, and you said that it was going to be plenty long.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, especially after blocking.
Yeah. I finished, yay, the long-awaited Vacillate. I played a bit of yarn chicken at the end, and actually did run out of yarn. So I was in the home stretch, and I seem to be able to do this really often with the Vacillate, and had decided I wasn't going to have enough to be able to do the bind off on the right side row, so I was going to bind off on the wrong side row. And so I got like part of the way on the wrong side row and still ran out of yarn. And so then again, as a knitter, that we knitters that solve problems, I had some green left over, and so I just kind of did a contrasty, took it back to the right side row and did a bind off, and I really like the way it looks. I think it kind of adds a nice little touch on the edge there, and kind of looks like it was meant to be. And then of course the other end is supposed to match, so I just ended up picking up stitches and binding on one row, and then turning around and binding them back off. And we can't, sorry Jess, even tell really which side is the one where I ended up kind of picking them up as an afterthought. You really have to study. I think it's this one. Anyway, it's super long. It blocked out really nice and wide, and I tried to have my husband and daughter take pictures. Like when I stand up, it's about as like up to my nose. And then my husband says that it looks like a kilt, so I can also wear it as a skirt should the moment strike me. But no, it's definitely going to get pinned up. And the again, another moment where I was like, oh, I'm going to throw this, sorry Chaz, into the washing machine, but I wonder how that yak is going to wash up. And I put the Allure in, which I thought was very matchy-matchy. Bijou Basin Ranch has the Allure wool wash, in this case yak wash, and there was a little bit of brown like fuzz inside of, I always put all of my knitwear inside out. In this case you can't really put it inside out, and in a garment bag, or I call them they're not garment bags, a delicate bag. Sorry, not a garment bag. Garment bag would be like if you're transporting a suit, right? Yeah. And there was a little bit of fuzz there, but it's non noticeable. Light is still trying to go out for all of you, getting a strobe effect. But super love it. Also, my needles kind of feel naked without it on the needles. I need another I need
Vacillate.
another vacillate.
Are you sure you need another vacillate?
I am kind of in repeato mode.
Okay.
Everything that I see, I did get some Leading Men Fiber Arts, 2 colors that coordinated really well at Stitches Midwest. And then I could not put these socks down. These are the SKUs out of the Nomadic Yarns in the Rhinebeck Sweater Weather, and they just are super addicting. Super duper addicting.
And she made them for me.
I did. But they did fit because I wanted to prove to her that they can fit. So they're a little, I get a little bit of ease in the foot. Super tall. I'm not used to having socks that tall, but by the time I unbiased them, that was as tall as they got. And yeah, I don't know, I don't know if it was the pattern or if it was the yarn or it was the combination. I just could not put these down. So they're super fun. See from the how much higher can
At work. Do it, hold it.
And I might wear them now. But yes, they are fun and I love them, and I really like the way vacillates fit. So I like how the heel fits. It's kind of a funky heel where you do some increases here, and then you have an origami moment where you end up, oh, now I've got them on, because if only I were a person that can contort, the contortionist body. You end up Kitchenering some stitches kind of mid heel there, and it's fun. I think that's the thing. I mean, it's stockinette, so you kind of go into stockinette zombie, but then there's things that you have to pay attention to, and so it keeps, it's like having sections, right? So you have a toe and a mid toe and a foot and a heel and an unbiasing and it's just, you just feel like ding ding, I'm hitting, oh ding ding, I've hit another milestone, ding ding. So yeah. Yes, when I saw that this yarn was not going to get to my house until like 2 weeks before Rhinebeck, I did not think that I would have my Rhinebeck Sweater Weather socks done, but who knew?
You chose the right pattern to make them happen.
I guess, yeah, and I'm super in love with it. And again, I haven't come up with the term yet, but everything I look at right now is cute, cute, cute. Don't know. I'm becoming a repeating monster. I am a stuttering knitter.
Stuttering knitter.
I just keep on wanting to knit the same thing over and over again. Work in progress.
I have sock for my son. So far it's just something I am making up on the top of the foot, and I don't know what kind of heel we're gonna do yet. So just keep knitting, just keep knitting. I think I'm actually gonna make them about the size of my foot. So I gotta keep knitting. He's getting close to being the same foot size as me. So close enough that I'm like, I'll just make them long enough. He can grow into them. And they can have a heel. He wore those, the last pair I made for a while. And it was all good. See what's in here. I'm ill prepared here. Nope. Things that might have gotten worked on. Nope. So yeah, all the socks are still in bags, apparently. Oh, this is a sock project that's not a sock. It was the Jinx cat. I had started 2 at a time and finished the one for a swap, and then never finished the one for me. And so, I should finish that. It's October again. I should totally do that. And I'm rocking back and forth here trying to get everything situated.
I can talk if you want me to talk.
Nope, I got it.
She's all on top of it now.
I think so. So I worked a little bit more on the Chance of Snow. I don't know if I printed off any pictures though. No, I didn't. So, it's a top-down raglan, but it's kind of open.
The lace motif?
Yeah. And so, well, there's a cable up the front. And then as soon as I have enough stitches on here to do the armhole, I will go ahead and be ready to go all the way around it in just like Kitafude mode, you know? Go all the way around it. And then, yeah, go down to the bottom where there's a circle motif. So, yeah, interesting construction. Yeah. So it's very similar to the spots one that I had knit before in construction. So I think that will work out. And that's for a mother-daughter KAL that runs until the new year. So if you're interested in knitting one for me and one for my daughter, you can enter that KAL. It's still open as far as like as long as you're willing to do 2 sweaters between now and January.
That is,
you can enter.
Those are some super pretty cakes.
Yes. So we have the Miss Grace shawl cakes.
So pretty.
So the main color, and then we have color 1 and color 2. And so I don't know how well these are going to show up. They are nicely matched skeins. So there's a wedge here. And then there's another wedge in the main color here. And they call those a half form. So you get there's a full form and a half form to get the waves. And I was knitting on that, and
really
it was
like that color combo.
Yeah, it was very addicting. Yes, it's fall-tastic. The Leslie colorway. But yeah, it's very addicting. I think that the most addicting part is that like there's this endless chart. Free pattern, right? Endless chart.
Kit gets a nice printed.
Yes.
Super wide one though, right?
Yeah. So, each of these, milestones within here, the wedges or whatever, and then all of the ripples in between, it can get very addicting. Like, oh, I'm almost to the next wedge. And then you start the wedge and you're like, oh, I do want to finish this wedge. But I could not, some of them, it's a little long. And I can imagine when I get to the widest angle, it's not going to be fun at all. I'll spend an entire evening and won't get a row done.
Yeah. So kind of like the skew socks in that you're hitting those intermediate milestones and you kind of want to finish up an area.
Yes.
And hit the next one. And yeah, those are fun. I think I like that about shawls too. I haven't knit very many shawls this year, but the ones I have, I do appreciate when there's like, ding ding, I have finished section 1. Ding ding, I have finished section 2. Is that all the works? And this is your project bag here?
Yeah, I'm keeping it in the box. It's not mobile. I can work on it right now, but it's staying at home.
I was going to say, it looks like a mobile workspace to me. You just open it up and knit, and put it back in and close the top.
It is actually at home very nice. I keep everything here, and sometimes it sits next to me, sometimes it sits on my lap, depending on how much room I have.
And now you don't get to experiment with whether or not Pivot likes the taste of that extra fine 19.5 micron.
It's actually called the Sophia base. I did, while reading the pattern, I found that out. So Sophia is the yarn base.
I'm super impressed that I remembered that it was 19.5 micron.
Very good.
Random numbers come spewing out of my mouth. Speaking of a base, a new to me base that I am absolutely in love with. So I was behaved. I did buy a Wool People pattern going, I'm going to totally knit a sweater before Rhinebeck. Another one. And then I was like, no. I have that brioche shawl design that I need to focus on. I've got an October Hito Fu Day to knit. I've got, other plans that need to be fulfilled. I should be a good girl and not try to like sprint and get another done before riding back. So I cast on.
Sweater.
I don't need another one. I've
Which
got
one
plenty.
did you buy?
I bought the Crosby. It's a Julie Hoover that looks a lot like the Chaleur. It's a Henley, and it's got split hem at the bottom. It's cable-tastic, some kind of diamond-y cables, and I have some really great, I can see the Swans Island all-American wool that I could have made it at, and it would have been really sheepy and wonderful, but I was a grown-up. I told myself, no.
Sort of.
What do you mean, sort of? I didn't cast it on.
Okay.
Are you saying the grown-up thing would have been to indulge myself?
No, just that, I guess the most grown-up thing to do would to be to finish your pattern.
Instead of procrastinating on my SKUs. Yeah, maybe.
Sort of.
She's trying to make me feel unvirtuous, but I still feel pretty virtuous. This is fishnets in her, it's her, why can't I remember the base? Isabella, 2-ply high twist, 80% merino, 20% silk. Is this not just like butter?
It's very nice.
Yeah. That's twistier, and it doesn't have the silk in it. I can tell. And the colorway is Moonbeam, and I'm loving it. Da 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 da. It's just a really nice base, and I really am enjoying the color. It's not quite white. It's not quite gray. It's Moonbeam.
Moonbeam. Yeah.
Is there a song about a moonbeam? Something, something, moonbeam. I can hear it in my head, but I cannot sing it for you. Because the words are not coming, nor is the tune, but I can kind of hear it. There's an inkling. And then the Adventure Walk socks, have gotten a little work on them when we were not on an adventure walk, because I wanted to finish them up, and Son is getting impatient. We did go for a walk and walk to return a red box. We got Cinderella. And got some coffee and pastries at Panera and played at a playground, and it was a great adventure walk, but nearing the end here, so that's the finished one, even though it has strings on it, and have another little interplay, and then 2 solids, extended solid at the top, and I am again making them complementary. So what's blue is gray and what's gray is blue, and they're pretty well syncing up. I think that, a little bit here and a little bit there, because I'm switching strands. They're a little different, but ultimately make them the same length so that they don't feel funny on his foot. And away we go. I won't have any more socks on the needles. I'll have to cast on some more SKUs. And those are the works in progress that are, fit to be had. I showed Amy the brioche shawl. It's still getting iterated upon, but I'm hoping to, which means I'm ripping out and redoing and ripping out and redoing. Probably the 7th iteration of this one, but it's getting closer, and I hope to be able to take a picture and post it out on social media soonly, because I really love the Grello. The Grello Dient is... I haven't even gotten to the Dient part at the end.
Right.
It's just that gray and yellow interchange is just slaying me. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's coming along, coming together.
Yep.
Inspiration captured.
Yes.
Were you enabled?
I was not. None of my enabling has showed up. I was enabled, but I'll talk about that next week when it's here.
Okay. I have something on order that should be arriving this week, but not here yet.
Okay.
Recorded early, so.
Yeah. Mine is from Cyborg's Craft Room. She's got some Target on sale, so if you're feeling like being pre-enabled. Go out there
Okay.
now. It's on sale, and then there's this coupon code too, so it's a super good deal. And I'm gonna knit some color work out of that tardy. I wanted to briefly mention, if you're going to ZK, thank you for signing up. We didn't get that thank you in last week because we were dealing with the flashing light, and it's still flashing. But I sent out an email, so if you did not receive the email saying welcome ZK 2016, or what was the subject title, in case people need to search their spam filters, it was you are coming to ZK 2016. Please let us know, because that email is important. We send out important retreat news to it, and if you aren't receiving communications from us, then we don't know that you're not receiving them. So check your inbox. If you received it, ding ding, mission accomplished. If you have not, I'm all about the ding ding. Our GPS used to do that. It was like a video game. Like, it would be like, at exit 35, turn, make a slight right on to exit 35, and then when you did it, it would go ding ding.
Yeah, I recall that.
Okay. You had one too?
Well, I didn't, but I was in cars that had them.
Okay. Yeah. Google Maps and whatever Apple things, I don't think they do that for you. It was a little bit like playing a video game, to be honest with you.
Right. You got a little, like,
audio
slot machine reward system there.
Yeah, audio reassurance that you were correct to do it. I mean, like, I guess they could have had it be like, you are so on track. But the ding ding was very rewarding as well. Anyway, email us if you did not get it. Megan at Stockinit Zombies or Amy at Stockinit Zombies. Both can be spelled different ways, but mine is MEGAN. Yours is AMY.
Yes.
So, have we blah 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 enough?
I think so. It was a short week. We added some content, and that's the way it should be. And then next week, hopefully, I'll have a, like, grass grain and buttons sewn sweater, and that ponchette will be remembered.
My buttons are going on this week too, because they gotta.
And if I'm super ambitious, one of the socks will be done, or I will have a lot more of that sweater done. But socks are actually traveling around with me, so that they might move.
It bodes well for them. They're smaller circumference as well.
Yep. We are knitting them bulletproof, though. So
That's true.
Bulletproof. All right. Bye.
Bye.